We are going to work on finding the missing number. So I have this equation here, something minus 5 equals 7. I need to figure out what that something is. The very first thing I need to do is split the problem apart at the alligator. When I do that, I know that this side needs to equal 7, and this side over here needs to equal 7 as well when I'm all done with everything. So something minus 5 is going to equal 7 on this side, just like it equals 7 on that side. Now, what I want to do is I want to visually represent this problem. I know that I have some number and I subtracted 5 from it. So I can show that. Here's the 5 objects that have been subtracted. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So these 5 things were subtracted. Now, after those 5 things were subtracted, I had 7 left. So I need to make 7 more objects here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now I have the 7 things that were, I have all these that were subtracted from the total number, and I have 7 that are remaining right there. So what I have going on here is I have these 7 plus these 5 that I subtracted off, and that gives me a total of 12 things. So I could put my answer 12 right in there, and then I want to check it over. 12 minus 5 equals 7, and I visually represent that down there. There's 12 circles, 5 of them are crossed out, so 12 minus 5 does equal 7. On this one here, we have another missing number problem. It's a little bit different than you're used to, though, because the single numbers on the left side, and over here there's the operation, the plus or minus side of things. So you can, if you want, switch it around this way. I just take my right side and I move it right over to the left side. Everything has to stay in the same exact order for it to be the same problem. But I don't need to switch things around. I can still follow the same exact rules. Ignore this one down here. So the first thing you need to do is split the problem apart at the alligator. So I draw a line down through the middle, and I have this side over here, and I have this side over here. Both sides are going to need to equal 3. At this point, I do the same thing I did before. I visually represent the problem. I know that 5 objects have been subtracted from this number. So I show that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that have been subtracted. And I know that after those 5 things were subtracted, there's still 3 that remain. 1, 2, and 3. So I can see here that I have the 3 objects that were left after I subtracted, and the 5 objects that I did subtract. So there's 8 objects here. So 8 is going to go into my missing number. So once again, I want to visually represent that. I have my 5 objects that were subtracted and my 3 objects that were left over. So there's a total of 8 objects there before I subtracted those 5. Another example, 7 minus something equals 3. Now in this one, first thing, same thing I do at the beginning of each one. I split the problem apart at the alligator. This side needs to equal 3 and that side needs to equal 3. I'm going to visually represent the problem. Now in this one, I start with 7. So I start with 7 things, 7 objects. I just make 7 circles. And after I make my 7 circles, now I know that I subtracted some number and I ended up with 3. So I get rid of these until I end up with 3 left. So after I cross out those 3, I have these 4. I continue to cross them out until I have 3 left. So I crossed out these 4 and I have 3 that are remaining. So 4 is my missing number because I had 7 to begin with, and I crossed out 4 of them, and I ended up with 3, which is the same that is over here. On this one, 3 plus something equals 9. The first thing I need to do is split the problem apart at the alligator. Now both sides of this are going to equal 9, and I want to visually represent the equation. I want to visually represent the problem. So I know I have 3 things, and I'm going to make those 3 objects. 1, 2, 3. Now I know that something was added on to 3 until we get to 9. So I add on objects until we hit 9. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have the 3 that we started with, and I added these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I added those 6 on there for a total of 9 things. So my 6 is what goes into the blank there. And that is how to solve for the missing number. Once again, make sure that you split the problem apart at the alligator and then visually represent what you have going on in the problem.